You know how we feel utter disgust and anger for some of the worst criminals that we've seen in our times. Well, there have been some people in ancient history who were not merely any people, but the rulers who turned into cruel tyrants and weren't stoppable and neither answerable for the crimes they used to commit. Hi Curiosity Seeker. In this, another curious media video, we'll be telling you about such ancient tyrants that you won't easily find in the history books, but these are the ones you must know about. Number 1. Mary Tudor, daughter of King Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, the first wife of Henry. Mary Tudor had a chaotic life indeed. This was mostly due to the frequent marriage-divorce-remarriage game by his father, and the threat of losing the throne that came along with it. Obviously, it was directly connected to her survival. Everyone knows how Henry splitted with the Roman Catholic Church for his desire to have a male heir. Mary's faith in the same made her get the title of Bloody Mary. She attempted to revive Roman Catholicism when she became queen in 1553, and in the process, she executed some 300 Protestants. In the wake of a failed Protestant uprising led by Sir Thomas Wyatt the Younger, they were executed by being burned at the stake as heretics. She died due to illness in 1558, ruling only 5 years. Number 2. Porfirio Diaz. Diaz was a dictator who controlled Mexico from 1876 to 1910 and is regarded as the most despised person in Mexican history. He only resigned as president after being removed from office as a result of his corruption and for fueling the unrest that would ultimately lead to the Mexican Revolution. Despite making numerous attempts to use the underclass for his and the wealthy's personal advantage while in power, Diaz failed to fix the nation's deteriorating economy and infrastructure, ultimately doing great harm to it. Number 3. Wu Zetian, called as Fair Flatterer by Taizong, a Tang emperor. In the 7th century AD, Wu Zetian became the first woman in Chinese history to hold a position of independent power. She is alleged to have poisoned her mother in addition to killing her older brothers and sister. It has been claimed that she was cunning enough to take the previous emperor's authority, and that anyone who disagreed with or resisted the late empress's orders was immediately put to death. All 12 Tang clan branches were destroyed by Wu Zetian, according to the book Hidden Power. She even gave the order to have the heads of the 2 disobedient Tang princes personally delivered to her. When her granddaughter and grandson criticized her actions, she gave the orders to kill themselves. Wu poisoned her husband as well. Number 4. Akhenaten. Akhenaten adopted his name, which means the loyal servant of the god Aten, after joining the religious cult known as Aten. From 1353 until 1336 BC, he reigned as one of Egypt's New Kingdom kings. In support of it, Akhenaten would try to eradicate all old Egyptian religions. His 5-year official reign as Amenhotep IV was marked by the rigid adherence to all of his father's policies, including religious customs in Egypt. In his 5th year, Akhenaten underwent a significant religious transition that included changing his name and the god that his name was linked with. He eliminated Egypt's customary religious practices and removed the gods' names from temples. He was referred to as the heretic king for the following 12 years. Number 5. Commodus. The immature and crazy emperor Commodus, who ruled Rome from 180 to 192 AD, is well known. He thought he was Hercules himself coming back to life. Commodus loved to kill people. It was his favorite pastime. He even made an attempt to fabricate a bogus plot about someone intending to kill him so they could torture his adversaries. The Roman emperor also cherished playing the role of a gladiator to dispatch wild animals from the arena, bragging that he had triumphed in 12,000 contests altogether. In addition to being a cold-blooded murderer, Commodus also took pleasure in flouting established customs. He was well known for purposefully avoiding all of his obligations as the emperor in charge. While playing a gladiator in the renowned Rome Colosseum throughout his reign, he concentrated on pleasing 300 females, even directing the killing of the majority of his family. Rome was falling before him, and he basically did nothing. He also demanded that the city be recreated and given his name. Number 6. Phalaris. When discussing Inhuman, we couldn't help but bring up Phalaris. From 570 to 554 BC, he held the title Tyrant of Acragas in Sicily. Phalaris took control of the city around the 6th century BC and declared himself its tyrant. Phalaris' preferred method of torture was roasting his adversaries, which he delighted to do. The fact that he would do this while the people were still inside a bronze bull, their tortured screams reverberating from within and mimicking the bellow of the animal, makes it even more horrible. It has been said that he learned the roasting technique from a coppersmith, who gave him this instruction. Number 7. Herod. Without mentioning Herod the so-called Great, a ruthless tyrant of ancient Judea, this video will stay incomplete. He murdered those he thought were plotting against him. In Bethlehem, following the birth of Christ, the guy gave the order to kill the newborn. He also lost his wife and his 3 oldest sons as a result of his insanity. His cruel rule caused the Sanhedrin, a tribunal of rabbis who served as sacred judges, to regularly question his governance. The charges were rejected every time. Herod started numerous construction projects after establishing himself as king. He built a beautiful palace for his pleasure and vanity using the taxes of the oppressed people. While we picked those we were able to accumulate the information about, we are sure that these were not the only tyrants in ancient history that were the most cruel, as each state has its own historical tales. So drop yours in the comments. And if you found this video informative, share it with your gang, like it, and subscribe to Curious Media for more.